Hey YouTube, and welcome back to another stage at the salt mine. This is a review of the NA playoff bracket because it was CJ who recorded the videos live, but we're going to give you guys the YouTube coverage. Now, Chronic versus AJ, they both finished in the top of their pool. They are playing in the bye round right now. That gives them 2 chances to make it into the top 4, where they play in those best of 7s to earn the maximum amount of salt mine points. And both these guys have had a tournament to remember so far, at least in Stage 2. I think that Chronic felt like he didn't play as good as he could have, but he bounced back. He bounced back in a way that made sense, considering he was the best North American performer when he played in the Chalkcast Duels tournament, the 1v1 tournament that happened when everyone was in the same location in EU. He had a great tournament there, and he's able to kind of match those results in Stage 2 of Salt Mine. He finished atop Group B with Daniel in second. Only a singular loss for Chronic, and that loss came to Daniel, but he had the point differential, or the game differential I should say, in order to finish first. He's playing against AJ, who tied for first over in Group A, but finished second due to game differential, even though he, I believe, was the only person to beat Diaz, who ended up winning the group. So that game differential becoming really important because I think on both sides of the bracket, that second place finisher actually beat the first place finisher, but didn't have a better record across the board. So does that mean the players who finish second might be better? We'll have to see, or at least better suited to play against his top talent, as we have AJ versus Chronic. AJ had been talking to me a while in the past about he had a tough time with game 5s, but coming into pool play, he turned that around and started to win his game 5s. He lost his game 5 to Cosmic after going up 2-0, and then won a game 5 against CRR, won a game 5 against First Killer, won a game 5 against Lion Blaze, and then won a game 5 against Diaz. So he played it about as close as possible in every single matchup, but he only lost the Cosmic matchup in game 5, but he won the rest of them all the way through. Chronic had a little bit of an easier time over on his side of the bracket, sweeping Beast Mode, going to game 5 with Evo, sweeping Wavy, letting Zapatos get 1 game before eventually losing to Daniel. So we'll see which one of these two are ready to go now that we are into the playoff stage. The group stage happens over 2 days, a week before this playoff stage is played. So, you know, time for these guys to adjust a little bit in terms of their form, whether or not they're in a position to play well. They could have that completely changed in the course of a week. We see the 1v1 game change a lot, but Chronic is going to start up 1. So 2 lives for these guys. I should say not up 1, but up 4, and now has a significant lead as we head into the second half of this game 1. AJ and Chronic, 2 guys who have loved to farm in the air, love to play very risky. AJ a little bit more than Chronic, has oftentimes let himself completely exposed. But I imagine that if these guys are playing as well as they have in pool play, that probably done a good job of cleaning up those opportunities to give free goals to the opponent. They're the kind of guys that when they're on, they become unstoppable. And that's because these aerial plays are so deadly when they hit, and sometimes are the reason why they lead to easy goals when they miss. But Chronic is going to pre-jump AJ. He knows that AJ has that kind of talent in the air and is not going to wait to find out what he can do to him. Now he's forced to play a ground game, and that flick is easily sent away. Chronic, long testing shot. Now AJ is desperate in need of offense. Has not been able to find any. This midfield back and forth is heavily in favor of Chronic, as he's wasted it almost a couple minutes off the clock now in between these possessions. AJ's going to take this ball over to the left side of the field. Ball dashing his way on the back wall. Either one of these guys can get clear control. Finally, AJ will have it. A demo and a full field dribble. Needs to convert on this attack and the next 5, and he's got this one. There's a nice air dribble reset. Back in the Carmine Core goal explosion. Carmine Core looking real set for next season. Wave dash kickoff mirrored by these two. Chronic wins the midfield boost and, very likely wins the game with a kickoff like that because AJ needs every single possession if he wants to bring it back. AJ does steal away the ball, try and keep himself relevant in this game. 36 seconds. We see any sort of change in the kickoff. I actually thought we were going to see a delay from AJ, but it's the delay from Chronic. Those wall dashes maybe got a little bit out of control. Chronic pre-jumping. Not only does he not want to let AJ score quickly here to have a chance in this game, but wouldn't be a bad idea to keep him from getting too confident either. Don't let him use the trash time to get his confidence going. 10 seconds left to go. Another kickoff win for Chronic. And another precious amount of seconds wasted as AJ tries to set up a possession, even though he does end up getting a fairly decent one. And this one will roll all the way down the field for a Chronic win. So Chronic going up 1. Game number 2. Chronic and AJ. Chronic showing why he topped Pool B. But you might be slightly worried for him as he had a decent lead all the way up to like 6-1 or something at some point, and one of the rest of the game was all AJ. He wasn't able to bring it all the way back, but certainly has some momentum coming into game number 2. We'll see if he can continue that. Right now he's playing a really patient ground game. He tries to get Chronic to make a bad challenge. He doesn't succeed in doing so. Fortunately for him, Chronic hits this ball to the back wall and not in the net. Now AJ playing a bit of keep away. He knows he has boost advantage here with Chronic overstaying his welcome. Now AJ on the air dribble. The wave dash makes the shot, and actually a great dash there that he could have gotten off of 50ing the ball. He's going to need a quick recovery if he wanted to score it. We are a minute in without a goal. A pinch might be the first, and it will be. AJ scores off of Chronic diving into the orange corner. And the ball squeezing its way out into the net. Wave dash kickoff for AJ. He adds in those zap dashes often off the kickoff situations. Undercutting Chronic. He will back off the ball now, recognizing that he just needs to allow Chronic to take a shot. You see, AJ has 70 boost as he uses his wall dashes to catch back up to the play, and he ended up wall dashing too much, overshot it, put himself out of position. I think if you asked him, his thought process is that because he's saving his 70 boost while he wall dashes, that he'll be able to use that to recover if need be, and he might be able to find an opportunity he otherwise wouldn't have if he weren't to dash. But now he's dealing with a 1-1 game. Chronic can have a really solid opportunity with AJ behind him with no boost. It means an air dribble is going to start. The late recovering defender, but AJ handled it well. Going for the double jump bump in order to convert his goal. No counterattack was available, although he did his best to set up the play as smoothly as possible. Chronic had already recovered. So what do you do with a defender in net? Well, not a bad idea to bump them. AJ getting a little too fancy as he tries to start a carry. Allows Chronic to intercept and reads the pre-jump. Nice play. AJ recognizing Chronic in deep. Likely to pre-jump to stop a dribble, but that would work only because dribbles come out very slow. Those power shots, they boom quickly over the top to beat the pre-jump. AJ ball cam off, just staring down Chronic. waiting for him to make a play on the ball. And then and only then, looking it over the top of him. So Chronic letting this one slip away. I mean, if you connect this streak to the game 1 streak, it's something like 9-1 in favor of AJ, I think. I think, you know, Chronic had a huge lead, but the last couple minutes he was not scoring much. Maybe 9-2 or so. Chronic, eligible bump opportunity. AJ in and out of the nets. I'm actually surprised Chronic got one additional touch that pushed the ball higher. Not only did that push that into where AJ was clearly going to be making a save because he was going in and out, but it also made it so he could protect it less and not clear up as much with the bump. So I wonder if it's just purely accidental from Chronic. As this 50 is enough to get a goal, it is. AJ could not recover, despite the fact that it took Chronic a bit to force that goal in. So minute 33. And AJ has lost the kickoff into his corner. Not able to get as clean of a possession as I'm sure he's hoping when he goes back there. So Chronic forces him off the wall. Now, should have an air dribble of his own, considering how we know Chronic likes to play. Lets this ball fall to the ground. I wonder if that's a lack of confidence from Chronic. I would have expected him to take a shot in the air. Take a shot in the air. He seems to want to play it a little bit safer. Fake touch to the side wall. He's going to let the ball stay midfield, and power shot is saved by AJ. AJ's recovered to stop the follow-up. No, he hasn't. Well, he sort of has, as there was no window to score on the initial touch, but Chronic playing for the long con and able to get the follow-up fake kickoff from AJ. Gets to his boost, but gets demoed. And I think that's a big deal. If he had allowed Chronic to get the 100 and the demo, might have just gotten quickly scored on. AJ with nice wave dash to get right back to this ball. A difference-making wave dash, which I think is so important to point out. You're going to see tons of dashes from a guy like AJ. Not all of them are directly the reason why he gets an outplay, but this one seemed quite clear. Dashing his way back, beating Chronic to the ball. He's got a 2-goal lead. 22 seconds, just needs a somewhat neutral kickoff. Not sure he's gotten that. It is a pretty quick earned possession by Chronic, but AJ doesn't back down. He immediately steals it away, and he can actually slow this down. I don't know if he intentionally missed it because he values a few more seconds wasted than getting a goal, but either way, I think he knew he had to win. So AJ going to tie the series up 1-1. Game 3, and Chronic is into the Octane, which I do not believe he was playing. We were watching this earlier. Chronic looking for the answer after a few tough minutes. And you might say that that was not that bad of a game, but you combine it with the end of the game, he actually won. Looks like whoever uploaded this replay had a bit of internet issues there in that moment. As these guys warp around. Chronic, oh man, some serious internet issues for the uploader, but it results in an AJ goal. Hopefully they don't have too much more. I think it was an admin of Saltmine who uploaded the replay. This is, you know, the classic that you kind of expect to see from a Chronic versus AJ matchup, especially one that would have happened in the past. There'd been a ton of kickoffs, one to sidewall, and then turned into wall to air dribbles. The meta defensively against them has changed a lot, although the meta offensively hasn't really. I mean, these guys played in the time which those were just automatic goals, essentially, and they would score them at ease against defenders. Now, defenders are willing to mix it up a lot more, mostly because recoveries are so much quicker. You can go challenge on the ceiling, and you can still find a way to not leave the net completely open. Also, because the talent on offense has gotten so good, it's just worth the risk now. I mean, maybe it wasn't before. You could kind of just bet that the offender might make a mistake. Now, defenders are not making mistakes in those situations, so you might as well just risk it. Otherwise, you're getting scored on either way. Chronic has now tied the game. As we're at 2-2. This is the second time I've seen a direct front flip on the kickoff. I think players really valuing being dead center of the ball maybe on those direct kickoffs. So adding no left-right input at all certainly can guarantee that. It's something that, you know, me as a bad player of the game would do back in the day. But apparently something you can value at even the highest level. AJ, a little ground double to himself. And a 3-2 lead. Not going to be able to just get away with front flips on the kickoff here. Slightly offset. AJ recognizing he might have just gotten an immediate goal. So instead of going for boost, turns for the shot. Does allow Chronic to demo him. Now it's almost a Chronic goal. AJ intercepts it. He goes for the same kind of long shot he looked for before. This time Chronic is around to stop it. AJ reset a million miles away from Chronic's nets. Chronic doesn't want to challenge him. He's going to chase him down in net. Can he bump him? He does. He does enough. Chronic couldn't hit the brakes. Now with AJ so close right behind him. Chronic also can't jump to dodge that because his momentum is so deep into his own net. He needs to turn that momentum around, but he can't do so if he's in the air. And now AJ trying to bait Chronic in. I think he overdid it, though. Yeah, he definitely overdid it. Chronic is going to get a goal. You know, it's not the worst idea ever to kind of force defenders into challenges they don't want to make. But obviously, there's a line where it goes too far, and AJ certainly crossed it. Well, that's a great 50. That is a really good 50. Just the control on the forward roll from AJ to have the 50 almost send him straight down to the ground. It's kind of like how, you know, players when they wave dash kickoff are trying to get sent down to the ball or down to the ground quickly to get that faster dash. AJ doing that on a much higher level. Has himself a 5-3 lead. AJ trying to make something happen with just a pad. The near post corner protected by Chronic. Now is AJ going to try and go the distance? Tap the ball to the ground. That is another bit of a mistake, I would say. Chronic is certainly capable of getting that goal. And I think Chronic maybe almost got frustrated by the fact he didn't. Because I don't know why he's turning and making that, you know, a little bit boneheaded dive. I would say that the first shot was, you know, definitely correct. He had an opening there. But it takes only the top ones players to be able to recognize when the moment has passed and not double down. Players so often want to get what they feel like they deserved moments ago. So maybe Chronic feeling like he deserved that goal. Force the issue. AJ bringing this back to the orange half. Will he take the dribble? Chronic kind of doesn't make him by swinging so wide. Fent allows AJ to drop the ball to the ground. AJ now the reverse wave dash. Great delay. Chronic passively setting up in nets. So AJ doesn't pull the trigger until he knows for sure it can be a goal. By the time he does, Chronic is not going to be able to react. 7-4. Make it 8-4 with 50 seconds. Gonna have to be, yeah, you know, Chronic and AJ, Chronic for sure. Chronic and Evo are definitely the North Americans who will do it the most. They'll quit when they feel like it's over. Maybe a little bit sooner than other people, but I mean, it's not bad. 50 seconds, 4 goals. Chronic's had enough. He wants to head to game number 4. Game number 4. Chronic and AJ. AJ putting himself right back on top after forcing a forfeit. Can always feel really devastating as the player who's just looking to get something going, to see yourself immediately down on the scoreboard. AJ not going to be able to get back to that one. Impressive early reset to make sure Chronic had no play on the ball. And AJ can't quite win out in the midfield, can't get back to net. So a tie game. AJ getting a bit ahead of himself, but not punished for it. He has all the time in the world. What does he want to set up? He wants a left side wall to air dribble, passing to the ceiling as a way to keep it as high as possible out in the midfield. You know, even if those challenges come early, like Chronix was about to, you can evade them by keeping it pinned up. It's kind of like an arc that I think is fairly easy to visualize with those ceiling challenges, where it's very easy to attack ceiling height right after the curve, but the farther you got to go into the middle of the field, that's a great pinch. The tougher it is to stay at ceiling height and make a decent challenge. So AJ was trying to bring it to ceiling height in the middle of the field, where it's pretty much impossible to get to when making those rolling saves off the ceiling. You almost have downwards momentum coming off those. Chronic, air dribble 50, no dice. AJ, so see, there's what I'm talking about. This dribble at ceiling height near the wall is very easy to intercept with a ceiling challenge like Chronic did. The farther you go out to the midfield, the tougher time you're going to have. And AJ sees an opening to launch a long shot. Wave dash kickoff for AJ and Chronic. Chronic will be the one to set up AJ. Another time that it seems like Chronic is coming to challenge the ceiling, and AJ wants to specifically keep the ball pinned on the ceiling. You know, he's doubling it, maybe even trying to triple it as a way to prevent it from falling. It's not going to matter. Chronic still got a taste of ball and now has possession of his own. His flick sent into the corner by AJ. Dunked by AJ, pre-flip, should be able to get to this ball first. So a 4-2 lead, as he has been able to quickly convert possessions into goals. Previously at the midfield, this time with Chronic deep in his corner. It's a kickoff win for AJ. The wave dash ends up taking the shot far too close to the net to ever make it past the defender. Chronic gets demoed on the follow-up. Very Moxie type play of AJ. Moxie certainly one to just eliminate players after his shot attempts. AJ, I mean, I'm not sure if this is necessarily AJ doing a lot, of Chronic really positioning in no man's land where he can't really make a play on the ball and is unable to react to a power shot bumped off of this kickoff. And AJ, you know, might have felt like Chronic was about to get a kickoff goal, but no, it wasn't in the cards for him. It's an AJ kickoff goal as he sends Chronic flying. AJ, kickoff possession. He cut this hard back into his corner, like he almost was trying to prevent progressing towards the blue half. He would rather play with possession, and with Chronic trying to dive for reasons like this, you could catch defenders getting desperate. AJ certainly seems to be forcing him, and yeah, Chronic is out. You know, talking about early forfeits. The last one wasn't so bad, but I know Chronic would be out in those situations. Now here, down 5 with a minute 50, and that is recoverable. People have done it many times, but Chronic's had enough, and it actually forfeits to lose the series too. Not often do you see that. He says GG's. AJ can have the win. AJ, a 3-1 win. He advances into the best of 7 portion of the bracket, the top 4. Chronic sent to the lowers.